Alrighty, we are learning Yoma Daf Mem Ches Amid Beis. We started Mem Ches Amid Aleph. By Rav Papa. Rav Papa asked the following shayla: Chishev bechatias gacholim. If you had a machshavas pigel, b'shas at the time when you are scooping, when the kangala was scooping up the coals for the keteris, does that in the machshavas pigel means that you have in mind when he's scooping up, when he's getting the coals, he has in mind of doing this avodah tomorrow? It's chutz l'zmanoi. So by Rav Papa, Chishev bechatias gecholim mahu. Is that going to invalidate the coals to be used for the keteris? So Gemara says, Machshirei mitzvah kemitzvah damai. Do we view something which is preparatory for a mitzvah as the mitzvah itself? And therefore, Rashi says, V'havi like machashir ba'avoda. It would be like having such a thought at the time you're doing the actual avodah, and therefore that would invalidate it. Or do we not look at this as an avodah, and therefore your machshavas pigel is only going to invalidate when you're doing something which is considered an avodah? So, for instance, when it comes to a regular carbon, it's shchita, haylacha, shchita, kabbalah, haylacha, and the actual zrikas hadam that are considered the avodas hadam, and therefore it's a machshavas pigel. A thought of doing this chutz l'zmani or chutz l'makami is going to invalidate it. That's because that's an avodah. But over here, where you're just getting the coals, which is a preparation for the burning of the keteris, is that considered an avodah, and therefore will the machshavas pigel will invalidate them or not? That's the shayla. Let's take Lashon Rashi. Rashi has another version to this. Chishev b'chatichas gecholim mahu sheyifsulu gecholim b'machshava zu melahakter aleim. Is the thought that you're having going to invalidate these coals to put keteris on them? Now, lina shaminan de psulabuhu midapasal tvol yoim kednan la'el. Before we saw that in the Mishnah brought before, so it said keteris halavayna v'hagachalim imnaga tvol yoim b'miktzas pasal as kulan. So Rashi is wondering, 1 second, we said that the kachalim were included, so why wouldn't this also, l'chayra, if a tvul yaim touches one of these kachalim, that'll invalidate it. That means lina, that'll also be possible lina, so then a machshavas lina, machshava for doing it the next day, should also invalidate it. That's what we said before. Says Rashi, miuhami bailan ihavi chatiyasan. Here the question is shoveling the coals, the shoveling of the coals, is that considered an avodah that your thought will invalidate them? Machshir mitzvah kemitzvah dami v'kihechi de machshavas chafina pasla beketeres machshavas chatia nami pasla bekecholim. Just like when you're scooping the coals, that is, you're scooping the keteris, and machshavas pigel will invalidate them. So the same thing would be by the shoveling of the coals. So that's the shayla, and the Gemara says teku. Fact the Gemara. Bo minei Rav Sheshes. What about haylacha bismoil mahu? What if you do haylacha of the dam? It's like a general shayla. The halacha of the dam to the mizbeach by a regular shchitas yishachta carbon, and you do the kabbalah, and you're walking with the dam to the mizbeach where you're going to do the zrika. Now halacha machshavas pigel definitely will apply. The question here is, what about if you're walking it with your left hand? Okay, what's the big deal? Because anything that's an avodah is supposed to be done with the right hand. So Rashi tells us, Halachas adami baile, Kabbalah v'zrika dichsev kahuna, where by Kabbalah, which is receiving the dam, and the actual zrika, sprinkling the dam, so it says kahuna, Pshita landa kol makom d'shenemar etzba v'kuhuna eina el yamin. If it says kahuna or it says etzba, it means the right. Aval haylacha leikse behedya. Haylacha is not written explicitly in the pasuk. Umeda afker rachmana lekabala b'lashon haylacha, but since the Torah does write halacha, but there it's referring to actually the Kabbalah Saddam. But since the Torah used the language of halacha when referring to Kabbalah, so the Tanya v'krivu zu Kabbalah Saddam naflo misach zagiga shehi avoda umiyu small ikalemud le'pasel the like sivba kuhuna behedya. So I know that halacha is considered an avoda, but it doesn't say kahuna explicitly by the avodah of halacha. So now his shayla is, since it doesn't say it explicitly, would smell with a left hand, halacha b'smell, would that be okay? So Amalu of Sheshes. So that was a shayla that was poster of Sheshes. Amalu of Sheshes. Tinisua. What are you bothering me? It's a Mishnah. And it's our Mishnah. Natalas hamachta biyaminai. We say, how does that Kohen Gadol, excuse me, how does the Kohen Gadol bring the keteris and the shovel with the gachalim, with the coals on it, into the Kodesh HaKadoshim? So he said, well, the machta is generally heavier, so the machta with the gachalim, therefore he carries that in his right hand, and he carries the spoon that is holding the keteris in his left hand. Vesakaf b'smailai. So you see that halacha b'smail will not invalidate the avodah. Okay. Frekta Gemara v'nifshe lehu meha. Well, why don't we answer this question from a different Mishnah? Ditnan. And this seems to be like a better Mishnah because it's talking about bringing something to the Mizbeach. Somebody made that point. Yeah, Rashi says, the begufei shel Mizbeach kamayri. What's it talking about? It's talking about bringing the Ivarim onto the Mizbeach. It says, Haregel shel Yamin bismoil. Okay, the animal's right leg you take with your left hand. Ubeis erva lachutz, ubeis oira lachutz, and the hide should be to the outside, which means that the place where it was disconnected from the body, which is, I guess, a little more gross, so that should be facing the kain. That just makes it look nicer. So you see that you're carrying it with your left hand. So you see that halacha b'smail is okay. Says the Gemara, I would have thought there that specifically because you're dealing with bringing something on the mizbech, which the kapara would not be ma'akiv. Meaning, if you didn't do this, the kapara, whatever the carbon was intended to do, has already been accomplished, because that happens with the dam. Aval halacha de ma'akva kabara me'olai. But I would think maybe when you're dealing with a halacha, like the halachas hadam to the mizbech, maybe there that would be ma'akiv if you do it with the left. So don't bring me a raya from bringing the ivarim onto the mizbech, because that's not an avodah that is ma'akiv kapara. So therefore we bring a raya from the machta and the kaf of the keteris, where there that you're going to do the avodah, and doing it right will be ma'akiv kapara. So that's why kamashulon. That's why it's a better raya to bring it from our Mishnah. The bottom tesis here, halacha b'smail mahu. Let's take a look at the bottom tesis. Tema, ilay asaga daiti lemifshita milokach esakaf b'smailay, mai kami boilay, harmi berak hamizvachim to lakol mili halacha le'nafka mechol kabbalah. Like, why would you think right like your left hand would work? This is like one of the avodas. You do kabbalah, you do zrik, everything's done with the right. Why should this be any different? V'yesh leimar tihi gufa misafkalu. Well, this is exactly what the shayla was. Igamrinan mikaf. Can we learn from the spoon? Today's kasha is if we're not. I mean, there's no reason to think you should be able to do it with the left, except for the fact that the halacha of the kaf into the Kodesh HaKadoshim is done with the left. So, and if that's where your source is, and that's where your rai is from, so what was the whole shakavatari here? So Tais is saying that this is exactly what his shaila was. Higuva misafkalu. Igamrinan mikaf. Do we learn from the kaf, the spoon that has your keteris, that you could do with your left? Or maybe there's some reason not to learn from the kaf. And I would assume that halacha is the same as Kabbalah. Upashlu of sheish the gamrin mina, the kivin the kazar rachmana hava achas beketeris. So the shaila is answered from the kaf, and the answer is like this: since the Torah says you have to only go in one time, and the only way you can go into the Kodesh HaKodashim and only do it once is if the kaf is going to be in your left hand. Alma hilacha b'smal kashira. You see that halacha with the small is better. Meaning, I basically have two options. Should I learn halacha from Kabbalah? Kabbalah has to be biyamin, so should I learn halacha from Kabbalah? Or I have another source where I find that halacha is permitted bismail. So it makes more sense to learn halacha from halacha than learning halacha from Kabbalah. Gewaldig. Let's stop here. I will continue the next video.